Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings WENWU figure. And I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't know how accurate this is. I'm guessing it's probably close, but they're not usually perfectly accurate since the figures are made long before the movies come out and things change in the movies and who knows what. But I'm not going to really go by that. I'm just going to go by the figure, assuming it's accurate enough for a figure that was released before the movie. I hope you guys get that. But this figure has a ton going for it. There's a whole lot of really nice stuff. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 6.5 inches, which makes him pretty close to 16.5 centimeters, and that's going to be your very average Marvel Legends height. I think that's fine. It's not true 1/12 scale for those of you who are new to these things. It's a little bit too big, but almost every 1/12 scale line is actually in this oversized scale. So it's kind of annoying, but that's just the way it is. Now, before we get into the review, let's go ahead and do a question of the day. Did you see the movie and did you like it? I asked this in my Shang-Chi review, the figure itself, and I'm going to ask it again because I don't know what else to ask since I haven't seen the movie. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the aesthetics on this guy. Well, obviously it's a movie figure, so there's tons of digital sculpting, lots of texture in the clothing. You can see there, all the materials have different details, different textures, different pattern here and here and here and here and here and here and here, all over the place. It's just texture everywhere. Very, very nicely detailed, very well done. I'm not sure how they did this paint job on the skirt. That seems incredibly difficult. And obviously there's like some smearing and stretching and stuff, but they did get that pattern on there surprisingly well. Like, definitely good enough for the price point. Some issues, sure, but it's not like it's a single stripe on a figure that they screwed up like they normally do. This is incredibly well done. If it's tampography, it's very impressive that they were able to get that to fit or to lay down at all. I don't know how they did it, honestly. That's really cool. They did really nice clean paint job for the belt. For this chest piece is good. The rings are well painted. The little details down here, nicely done. The face sculpt and paint job are surprisingly good. Shockingly good for this scale and for the price point. Could it be more realistic? Obviously. But I think the sculpt is there, and the paints are more than reasonably well done. Like, that's exceptional. For a Marvel Legends figure, that's really good. Very, very nicely done. So, aesthetically speaking, there's not a lot to say about this guy that isn't just... It's excellent. It's very nicely done. So, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Really, really cool. Alright, as far as accessories go, we have the 2 fist hands that come on in the package. Then we have the 2 martial arts hands and the 2 gripping hands. And then we get his weapon. I cannot remember the name of this weapon for the life of me right now. But we get that. There's a tiny bit of paint on it. It's good enough. That's a good enough batch of accessories. So, I'm going to give it... It's nothing impressive, but it's fine, so 7 out of 10. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about the articulation on this guy. I suspect we're going to have some limitations, but let's see. So he is on the double ball peg combination, which, as I've been saying for years, is the best, and I'm so glad that they've transitioned to it. It's cheaper to produce, and it functions better, and it's easier to pose. Like, you can't do that with a head on a regular Marvel Legends neck. You can have it forward, back, and rotated. You can kind of lean it like this on top of the ball peg normally, but it doesn't look as natural as this one does, and you can't do both. You can't do combination posing. That's why this is so much better, and it works wonderfully. It's very, very nicely done. As far as the shoulders, you have the ball hinge shoulder, full rotation. It goes up like that. Bicep swivel is fine. Doesn't go up far enough, I'd say. It should definitely go up a little bit higher. Double jointed elbows do work. Really nice. They're not the best looking thing in the world, but you get really good range, and they're not ugly for what they are, so that's good. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. The gripping hands have the wrong hinge in them, by the way. That is unfortunate. It should be vertical. It's not. For the torso, we have a diaphragm joint to ball peg. Feels like a... No, it feels like a double, actually. Well, either way, it moves around enough. It could have a lot more range, but it doesn't look ugly at all, so I'll give them that. It does rotate. It'll work. Could be a lot better, but it's not bad. Skirt is a floating piece. Hips are basically worthless in almost every direction. You're not going to get a whole lot done with this guy from the waist down. Do they rotate under the skirt? No, they appear to be fixed to this. Like, this has the crotch connected to it, the torso. So the hips are kind of worthless. They're regular Marvel Legends hips, so there's a thigh swivel that go out to the side, forward, and back, but you really can't do anything with them. It would have been nice if they figured out some way to cut this just so that you could get the range, but they didn't. Double jointed knees are in there, but again, because of the skirt, they serve almost no purpose, so that kind of blows. No boot swivel, and for the ankle, the foot goes pretty far back and pretty far forward. It's a very nice ankle. It's kind of a steep angle for the rocker, but it's not too bad. So other than the hips being and the knees being severely hindered, it's not too bad. But because of that, they should have done something to make this work. Even if they had to like put a cut down here and just kind of like hide it in there, it would have helped the legs significantly. And this is an action figure after all, so articulations are going to be a generous 7 out of 10. Without hips that can be posed, you're not going to be doing a whole lot of posing, so that's definitely a bummer. But I'm going to say that is made up for by the aesthetic. It's very nice looking. If you're into movie figures, this is one of the best looking ones they've done as far as likeness and paint and things like that. So I'm going to give this guy a final verdict of 8 out of 10. The aesthetics make up for a lot of the missteps, let's say. And it's not like the missteps are huge, they're understandable, but definitely could have been worked around with just a simple cut in the skirt. Maybe separate up here, and then separate once in the back, and you'll be good. But either way, it's a nice looking figure, decent accessories, and most of the articulation works well enough. So yeah, that's a fair rating. I'm going to go 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and you can let me know in the comment section why you didn't like it. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.